we can already start, and I would like to hand over to Benjamin to give us an online management presentation about 3D Aerospace. Please go ahead, Benjamin.
Thank you, Alexander. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Benjamin Kewak. I am the CEO and founder of 3D Aerospace. And first of all, I would like to thank you to join today's management presentation. Today I am with my executive team. So we have Betty and Sveta. So I will just let Betty and Sveta to introduce herself very quickly. Sveta, do you want to start?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Benjamin. So my name is Sveta, and my background is in finance. I have extensive experience with treasury, bank treasury, investments, portfolio management, and I'm now happily joined Benjamin in 3D Aerospace.
Good afternoon. My name is Betty. So I'm the COO of 3D Aerospace. I have experience. I used to work for Airbus with rockets and satellites, and I have a specific experience for assembly, integration, and test of space hardware. I give the ball back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Betty and Sveta. Let me share my screens, and then we can start very quickly through this presentation. So I am, as I said, the founder of 3D Aerospace. 3D Aerospace is a company I founded back in June 2018, and we provide service of geolocalization and connected maps. And Divine is our first brand related to the application of our technology in the field of precision viticulture. In terms of culture and challenges, what we have currently in smart farming and smart viticulture is four main challenges. The first challenge is related to the monitoring of the grape growth. Currently, there is no quick method to have a thorough assessment of the quality and quantity of grapes in the vineyards. So currently, we have manual tests done by employees, which is quite time-consuming and cannot be actually a full assessment in terms of quality and quantity in the number of grapes in the vineyards. The second issue is with respect to the detection of dead trees and the location of those dead trees in the vineyard. We always have between 5 to 15% of dead trees in vineyards, and of course is a loss in terms of grape collection and harvesting. So we have some difficulties to detect and to know the exact number of dead plants in the vineyards. The third issue is related to the management of the workforce. Vineyards normally have hectares and hectares of land, and most of the workforce, both human employees and materials, work remotely. So to manage this workforce, then it's quite challenging for the managers as well to know who is doing what and when. And finally, with actually the global warming, who has an impact directly on the environment, there is an urge today actually to minimize the level of pesticides and chemical products used in the vineyard in order to protect the environment on the longer run. In terms of technology, we have three elements at 3D Aerospace, which are all developed in-house, so we own completely the technology. The first masterpiece here is our EMS receiver, which is a GPS receiver connected with 7 cameras. So we own, in terms of technology, the mechanical, the electronics, the software. And this receiver can be deployed and retrofitted on any types of vehicle, tractor, quads, cars, any machines which has an engine. And for this, actually, we have our locking mechanism, which deploy the structure on the front of the vehicle. And this EMS receiver has been patented on the French market. The data collection from the EMS, which are then the pictures from the camera and the GPS location from the GPS antenna, are sent actually to our database. In our database, we have machine learning algorithm which process automatically the images of the vineyards. And from these images, we will detect 3 main parameters, which are then the growth of the vineyard's trees, the detection of anomalies, which could be diseases, dead plants, missing plants, as well as a precise information about the location of the workforce and materials. In terms of key services, we will have actually different services offering to our customers, and we have already established our internal roadmap. In 2021, the three activities we are currently developing is the monitoring of the growth of the vineyard trees. The second activity we are experimenting is the management of the workforce and material in real time for the vineyard manager. And the first service we will implement is a high definition map of the vineyards digitally available on different smartphone application and web development application. In terms of the main benefits for our customers, we have 5 of them. The first one is obviously economical and environmental. If we have a better knowledge of what's going on the vineyards and to assess exactly the needs of the plants, we can actually reduce the cost by reducing the amount of fertilizers used in the vineyards by knowing exactly the location of the fertilizer needs. The second aspect is we are aiming at improving the time management of the employees and the machines by having a real-time management of the materials and the workforce. The third point is our technology on the GPS part. We are 30 centimeter accuracy, so we can position any objects, any grapes, any trees within 30 centimeter accuracy. So we can provide to the manager all the list, for example, of the missing plants with 30 centimeter accuracy in the vineyard. And then all of our technology is quite easy to use, so we do not require actually less than 1 hour to develop our technology and to be used by the users with no technical background. In terms of us compared to the competitors, we have done extensive research in terms of technical and economical research to compare devices. So our 3D Aerospace brand with smartphone application, with Internet of Things sensors, with autonomous robots, and with drones. And we compare in terms of price, in terms of accuracy of the maps, in terms of possibility to have workforce management, in terms of how it is easy to use for the farmers, the terms of the accuracy of the anomaly detection, and overall the performance of Divines actually oversees, hopefully, all the other 4 competitors, which are, as I said, mobile phone, IoT sensor, autonomous robots, and drones. In terms of market of precision viticulture, it's evaluated at $1.5 billion by 2022, and Europe is the world leader in viticulture industry. So we have 2.4 million vineyard holders in Europe, and 76,000 of them are French, France being actually our first market to deroll our services by the end of 2021. The target size then, in terms of financial projections, without going too much into numbers, we are going to break even in 2023-2024, and we are targeting by 2025 to have a revenue of 23 million. In 2025, by the end of it, when we are actually doing an international expansion, targeting additional markets such as the German market and Luxembourgish market. So in terms of roadmap, right now we have already secured several alpha customers. We are doing the experimentation between today and up to September 2021 in order to actually reinforce our technology and to gather data to have sufficient proof, social proof by the end of 2021 to start our commercialization. We are planning then to roll every 2 years new services for our customers. And as mentioned previously, we have European expansion in 2026 and then going global in 2027. In terms of opportunities, Divines is firstly targeting precision viticulture, but we have many other spillovers in terms of opportunities. We can, of course, then integrate our technology with light drones or Earth observation data. We can expand Divines to additional agricultural industries. We are talking about oranges, trees, mangoes. We have as well a natural follow-on activity, which to work with insurance services to insure actually the farm thanks to our high definition maps. And we can have as well another push coming from our customers is to use all our digital data for marketing purposes. This is when my team today, then we have myself, Betty, and Sveta currently present at the meeting. And we have a team of 5 engineers working full-time on the project, all committed to the success of Divines. And right now, I thank you, Alex, and our guests to listen to my presentation. I will be happy to answer any of the questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Benjamin. Yeah, this was the first part. The second part is starting right now. So the floor is open to questions. I have a look whether one of the participants raises his or her hand. Not yet. And I have a look at the conversation in the chat room, whether there is a question already. Not yet, so maybe it's a good idea if I start with the first question. Oh yeah, no, that's a question. Yeah. I have a question. Yes. How many kilometers will a tractor or quad have to drive through the vineyard in order to catch a decent picture of the vineyard, and how environmental friendly is this? Assuming fuel used.
That's actually a very good point in terms of environmental impacts to the vineyard. What I can mention is actually the tractor or the quads go in the vineyard every week. So every week the farmer has to do an activity in the vineyard, which can be, for example, trimming the trees, which can be removing the grass, which could be applying a fertilizer or chemical product in the vineyard. So the whole philosophy of Divines here is not to add any workload to the existing workload of the farmer, but just to detach and deploy the EMS receiver on the tractor. And we do not ask any additional run with a quad or tractor. We are just actually adding the EMS on the current planning of work of a farmer. So we have actually 0 impact in terms of additional workload to the farmer, and 0 impact in terms of additional fuel consumption because of Divines needs. And what was very important for us to not have actually additional impact on the workload and the fuel consumption of our customers.
Okay, thank you. And another question is how much data is transferred between Divines and cloud?
So as the number of data is proportional to the number of hectares in the vineyard, but assuming then a size of 10 hectares, we are going to collect close to 150 gigabytes of data per day. And the data, then we have 2 types of data. The data transfer via Wi-Fi, which is actually the data of the pictures and the GPS location of the tractor. And then we have just kilobytes of data, which is the real-time position, let's say, of the employees on the tractor, which you can monitor in real time.
Okay. I would like to ask a question coming back a little bit to the team and the management structure, as you are following a quite ambitious plan to conquer a market and to introduce a new technology. So what are the main competencies that are crucial in order to achieve your goals?
Yeah, sure. I will start, and maybe I will leave Betty and Sveta to express on this question. From our side, so obviously you have the technical aspects, which is quite key to our company. We are a very high-tech or deep-tech company, so we need to have front-up skills on technology, on the machine learning aspects, on the development of the mechanical and electronics. But what is even more important is the social and natural bonds we have between us and with our employees. So we are all committed and convinced about being part of the future. I don't know if Betty or Sveta would like to add any additional parts for this question.
Yeah, if I can build on it. So I think a key point as well, looking at, I mean, as Ben said, the company was started in 2018. So we are in year 3 of the startup, or 2.5. So we're really preparing ourselves for scale up. So we have been carefully looking at the right balance between looking at opportunities and our ambition and making sure we have the internal structure in terms of skills and people, but also in terms of tools and processes, just enough to be able to scale up. And I think generally speaking, in our team, we are quite curious to know about new trends and new needs of our customers. And we're also very much aware of the competition. I don't know, Tsveta, if you want to add anything.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's another question about the data. How precise are the data taken on Windtree level or even leaf level, grape level?
Yeah, that's a very good question. One of the unique selling points of 3D Aerospace is we own our technology and we are very precise about our technology. Just to give you an example with our competitors, if we take, for example, satellite Earth observation images, 1 pixel of the image coming from a satellite will be about 10 meters by 10 meters. 1 pixel taken from a drone will be actually a couple of decimeter by a couple of decimeter. 1 pixel taken by our EMS receiver is 3 micrometer by 3 micrometer. So that just gives you actually a scale of how precise we are in terms of our technology. We are working at the micrometer level in terms of pixel definition. And for the GPS location, again, we are using our own algorithm, and we can track any tractors in the field within 30 centimeter real-time positioning accuracy. And this is using our own algorithm, and we do not need actually any additional correction services or base station. And this is one of the very strong, unique selling points of 3D Aerospace, and one of the differences between our technology and our competitors.
Okay. Another question about the data and how it is uploaded. Is it uploaded at home? Is the question?
Yeah, correct. Because of the size of the data, we cannot use 3G, 4G, and as well because of the poor network coverage in the vineyard, we cannot actually upload hundreds of gigabytes every day in the farm. So what we have on our EMS receiver, we have an inbuilt memory device which can store up to 200 gigabytes. So we will store all the data during the day, and at the end of the day, we can just simply remove the EMS receiver from the tractor, position the EMS in a Wi-Fi covered area, and then the EMS will transfer automatically the images to our cloud database.
Okay, then I would like to follow with another question. Then the low connectivity in rural areas, is this a problem for you?
Yes and no. Yes, it is a problem if we want to have access to very real-time data. So if we want to track, for example, in real time the tractor and we do not have a terrestrial network, then of course we will not be able to track in real time. But no is not an issue because we design our technology considering the low network coverage. So our smartphone application, our EMS receiver are designed to actually save the data on board, wait for data connectivity, and once we have an established link, then to send all the data to our database.
Okay. Another question is about the competition with drones. You already explored about the advantages of your technology compared with drones, but the question here is, what about a combination using drones to carry your EMS product?
It will be, yeah, it will be super powerful in terms of leverage synergies to be found between us and drones. The main advantage of drones is they can fly and see hectares of vineyard very rapidly, compared to us, we deploy on a tractor. But the main advantage of drones is also a drawback of the drones compared to our technology. The drones can only see and perceive a vineyard from the top. And so we can identify, for example, the missing tree very easily and faster than us, but we cannot identify all the grapes because we have only a top view. And compared to us, we are deploying on the tractor, so we have a full-scale visibility of a vineyard, and we can count all the visible grapes, and we can perceive all the diseases which will be missed by drones. So there is synergies actually between us and drones, but on the longer run, I will say that if Divine is successful and rapidly adopted by the farmers, most likely that we will take all the market shares.
Okay, this is the clear answer. The next question is leaving a little bit the field of technology, entering the field of financing. The question is, what about investments necessary to do your development?
Yes, let me take that one. So based on the current forecast that we have, we would need approximately 200,000 to fully develop the technology and be ready for commercialization in 2022. And to add to that, so hence we are doing this crowdfunding campaign, but we also have other sources of funding. And 50,000 is a very important threshold for us to reach, because at this point we would be able to also apply for matching from BPI. So we're almost there, and having then another 50,000 would actually bring us to develop fully the technology.
Okay, thank you. The next participant asks, yes, can you show a demo of the app showing an issue tool worked based on the pics videos taken? Do you have prepared this?
Yes, that's a real-time question. Let me open then the emulator. Okay.
We can also, if it's better, we can do it at the end of the session if you like.
No, it will be fine. So that's only the emulator of the application. What we have is it's in French, but I will go through all the designs. So basically, when we arrive in the front page here, we will have all the employee connected from the smartphone application. When we will click on the employee, we will know exactly if it's he or she is driving a tractor and the name of the receiver attached to the tractor. We will provide actually geolocation of the employee. If we have unconnected or disconnected employee, then we will have a list here. The app actually will be connected through Bluetooth connectivity between the smartphone and our EMS receiver. On each of the EMS receiver on the app, we can know actually if the name of your receiver, the level of batteries, where it is, who is driving it. And normally you should be able to have access actually to real-time stream data, assuming that we have connectivity from the smartphone application. And we have 7 cameras actually in the EMS receiver, so we can switch between one camera to another easily. The main application of the smartphone application is actually this map. On this map, then we have all the different parcels, including in the vineyards. And what you can see actually is the number of employees who has connectivity in real time. And if you click, for example, on one employee, you will be able to see what's going on, for example, of Thomas. So Thomas is actually on the EMS tractor, and then you can have access to the data of Thomas. What you can as well see is the level of anomalies. So, for example, this parcel has got 2 anomalies, this one has got 10 anomalies, and when you are clicking, and this is why I was saying that accuracy matters, is because all these actually red dots here is when we detect an anomaly. It can be either automatically from our machine learning algorithm or manually as declared by an employee through the smartphone application. And when you click on one of them, then actually you will have the name of the anomaly and a picture of the anomaly detected. And this can be done actually for the anomalies. This can also be done on the missing trees or any other undeclared or unclassified anomalies. And we can do the same thing, and that was the last part, and then I will conclude on this part. We can do the same thing actually related to the number of grapes you have in the vineyard. As I said before, this data is not available today. There is no one actually knowing by heart the number of grapes and the maturity of those grapes in the parcels. So what we have developed actually is an application to show where we have the majority of the grapes in the parcels, as well as the level of maturity. And the good thing about the application is you can go back actually to time and show them where the grapes were back a couple of weeks beforehand. So it's not only, let's say, direct data, but we have as well a tracking feature to show the evolution of the growth of the grapes over time. And again, this is not present today on the market. This is a data which is required by our customers, which cannot be delivered by drones or other technology. And this is why actually farmers are very excited about our technology, because it will bring a game changer for the management of the vineyard.
Okay, thank you very much for this short demonstration. I would, as next, I'd like to ask Günther Schmidberger, who has raised his hand to ask a question personally. I would like Günther Schmidberger to open up his microphone and briefly introduce himself and ask the question.
Well, hello. I'm a fundraiser for high-tech startups and have a portfolio of about 20 companies right now. Typically for investments from 500,000 to 15 million. And I wonder that the amount of money that you are searching is so low. That's the one hand side. And the other one, I'm supporting a drone company or a company that automates the complete flights for drones and combines it with different drones developer. And I thought it could be a good idea to talk to them to combine your technologies, because they can fly with a high accuracy, automatically change batteries and things like this.
Okay, thank you for the question.
Thank you, Günther. Sveta, do you want to take the financial aspect, and then I will take the synergy with drones?
Yes, let me take the first one. So to the point that the amount that we're looking for is rather low, it's really been estimated how much we would need to just go through this year. As you very well know, the funding that we're looking here is subordinated loans. So we are expecting to look for equity financing later. So based on the forecasting, we would start preparing for that later this year, so towards the end of the year and beginning of next year. We're just at this point expecting with the financing from European Commission and the subordinated loans that we don't need to start sharing equity, basically.
That's great. Good luck for that.
And you are fully right, Günther, in terms of then synergies between our technology and the drones. Basically, what we can do, and this is on our roadmap as well, is about this high definition map of a vineyard. What we can do actually with our technology is to provide actually the complete profile of a vineyard in terms of altitude, in terms of features, in terms of number of ranks, in terms of details you have between the ranks of vineyards. And this combined with the drone technology actually can, again, provide much added value to our customers.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of synergies between our two technology. And as I said, the drone can fly very quickly and overfly vineyard much faster than what we can do.
Right.
And then this is why I said that there is a potential synergy by providing to the drone technology or drone company our very high definition map of the ground, of the vineyard, and then combine these two aspects of technology. So there is a lot of room for collaboration and for synergies here.
Thank you very much.
Günther, you still raise your hand. Do you have a follow-up question? So one question would be still okay?
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay, super. Thank you. We go to the next question. What is the biggest single obstacle you expect to meet?
There is couple of difficulties and couple of barriers. First is we are tackling a very high level of, let's say, technology. So there is always a fair amount of risk when we are developing, let's say, technology or high technology. But here we, so far, and I touch woods, all the technology or the great milestones of the technology have been already developed, and we have already early signs of success in terms of development. So although I've got more and more white hairs because of the stress of the startup, actually I'm quite confident that on the technology side that we will be ready for this year. In terms of another risk is the risk linked with COVID. So there is a drop of actually, people drink less wine and the restaurants are closed. So there is a drop of consumption of wine. And then as a follow-up, the vineyard owners then are quite scared for new investment in new technology. So that might be one of the barriers to overcome this year, to still actually persist and convince them that actually COVID should be perceived as an activity, to change their way of working and to introduce new tools to improve the efficiency of running the management of the vineyards, and maybe try to enhance compared to the old days. So if I have maybe to retain one aspect, it will be the crisis linked to COVID, which has an impact, of course, on the wine consumption and so down the line on the investment into vineyards management.
Okay. The next question is again about connectivity. The question is, will you need 5G network to run the system with a decent speed?
5G for us, at the beginning of the story of 3D Aerospace, actually, when I created 3D Aerospace, is to have in mind the autonomous cars industries. And here 5G will be definitely a break dealer in terms of what 5G will bring to our technology and to upload all of this data, the hundreds of gigabytes actually in real time. 5G in the rural area, I don't think it will come anytime soon. I think if they have already 3G, which will be already actually a good step forward for our farmers. So if we have Divines, the application of Divines in mind, I think we have still a couple of years up front with respect to 5Gs in rural environment. But for urban application, it's definitely actually a step forward, and it will ease our life in terms of data transfer, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Another question by Günther. Can't you use edge computing?
Sorry, I missed the last word. Can I use?
Yeah, can't you use edge computing?
We can use, and actually what we are using right now is all cloud computing, and so we do not own any server at 3D Aerospace. We have all in the cloud. What we are doing is we have all our machine learning algorithm already deployed in the cloud, and every time we will have a new data collection, and this is as part of the business model of 3D Aerospace, is every time we have a new set of data, so every time we have a new customer and he or she using the EMS device, we will collect more data. The more we collect data, the more actually efficiency our machine learning algorithm will become in terms of detection and accuracy. And the more accuracy the services and the quality of the services are, the more customers will be interested by the event services. So it's kind of like a cycle between then the amount of volume of data collecting and the efficiency of our services proposed to our customer.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And the next question is about the team. Does your team have a person that is of high knowledge in maintaining vineyards? If not, external advisory? And the follow-up question is about giving more details about the patents?
Till recently, no, we didn't have anyone, but actually we hired Lucy with us. So as of end of January, we have a viticulture engineer as part of our team, and she is the 4th generation of vineyard owner. So vineyards is in her roots, I would say. In terms of, and just before she joined actually our company, before we didn't have any vineyard expertise in our company, but the way I used to run the company and define actually the services is by having our alpha customers right at the center of our company. So we are very customer centric, and actually I was called by my alpha customers to solve the missing trees and grape growth problem. So they find us rather than we find them. So they were aware about our technology, and then they had the pain point and they expressed the pain point asking, could your technology fix this issue? And this is how actually Divines emerged from our history. In terms of then service definition, we are really listening to our customers and see how we can solve their problems. And this is how we came up with our roadmap. And now actually Lucy is bringing all this knowledge in the company for viticulture. In terms of pattern for the second question, that again it's very fresh, it's from January 21. The strategy of a pattern at 3D Aerospace is we didn't want to pattern any of our software because the software is so much evolving every week, every month, that as soon as you establish a pattern, 18 months after when the pattern is published, then the software may be already obsolete. So the strategy of the pattern was actually to secure the design of our EMS receiver, so the hardware part. So all the pattern is related actually to the combination of different sensors between GPS camera on the EMS receiver, as well as the deployment of a GPS receiver being on the outside of the vehicle. So this device, the design of the device, the way what we are combining visual information and GPS location to do a high definition maps, this is what is on our pattern right now.
The next question is tackling the potential challenges in entering the agricultural market. And the question is, agricultural market lacks technology. Is this not an issue?
Well, the market have been lagging, that is probably true, but the requirements on farmers are changing as well, and with the additional pressure from cost efficiency and pesticides minimization, they're more and more willing to look for technology to solve their new problems, let's say. And with the current solutions, most of them are very complex, which makes it also challenging. And Divines, as we also showed earlier, it's very easy to use and to basically set up. So we hope to change that and make a difference in the agricultural market.
And I have to confess that at the beginning, I have the same actually pessimistic view on farmers. But I have to confess that was my mistake. Actually, the digital technology is very deeply used by farmers. They are already using amazingly weather forecasts. They have already connected weather stations. They are checking every day, actually, the latest technology. And the good thing of our technology is we do not have to buy a new quad or a new tractor, right? They just have to retrofit our instrument on any existing tractors. And that was part of our deal. We did not want them to invest a great amount of money. We just want them to actually retrofit our equipment on the existing infrastructure. So that was a very important point of our business, and this is why we are hoping that we will get through, let's say, the convincing parts of our business. Maybe one aspect, Sveta, if you want to touch base, or Betty, on the business plan. So we are not selling actually the hardware, but more in terms of our business approach and pricing.
Sure, I can cover that indeed. What we're doing is our business model would be to offer a monthly subscription to the customers, and then we have 3 different options, where the first one is free, and then they have access to the application. With the second and the third subscription mode, the farmers would receive either 1 or 3 EM receivers, so depending on what their need is for the vineyard. What is very important here is that we own the data, and then it's a subscription, so there is no investment from their side, but also from our side, it's a one-time investment for the for the hardware, and for the rest, it's a very low cost to maintain the process. So that makes it also very easy to scale up.
Thanks, Zeta. Betty, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I wanted to add on the technology part that actually we are not aiming at replacing the farmer or their expertise. We're trying to really add value on it to make sure that they can save time for more added value activities on their side. So the key here is to not be perceived as trying to replace their job or to do it better, but to really help them complement a bit their knowledge. So the more they can see and store data about their vineyard, the better, the higher yield or the better product they can do in terms of quality. So that's really important for us, that this technology is really focused on their pain point and not being perceived, as I mentioned, as telling them how to do their job. So that's the key point of the technology.
Okay, thank you. The next question is tackling again the technical concept. The question is, so to run the app, you need the main station around?
Now we can connect the app and the EMS receiver together via Bluetooth, but the smartphone can work as a standalone application. So we do not need to have an EMS receiver next to the smartphone application, but there is a possibility to link the smartphone application with our EMS receiver. That was designed in case of, for example, for the driver of the tractor, considering that our EMS receiver is on the outside of the tractor and not on the inside, then we still have the need to provide feedback of the driver. And this is why actually we link the smartphone application with the EMS receiver. But to keep it short, there is a possibility as well to run the smartphone application without actually the EMS receiver.
Yes, you see the result on the app without the receiver, but if you want to look at camera number 3 of the receiver, it has to be in the vicinity.
Okay. Added to this question is, if you use Bluetooth, then the persons working on the vineyard will have to be very close to the main station. Is there also an offline mode in the app to allow the workers to work far away from the main station?
Yeah, correct. So Bluetooth, well, far away. So we are using Bluetooth 2.4 gigahertz. So the radius of range is less than 30 meters. So as long as we are within 30 meters of the EMS receiver, then we can have a connectivity between the smartphone and our receiver. But in the smartphone application, there is as well the possibility to work offline. So it's definitely part of the smartphone application. And the smartphone application is already available on Android and on iPhone terminals. Mm-hmm. And then, Alex, just sorry, to add up on this, there is as well a possibility to have the same level of data in the smartphone application and on the web application. So then a couple of requests we had from our customers to as well to have this map not only on the small screen of a smartphone, but to have on the big screen of a laptop or desktop. So we have developed as well a desktop application with the same amount of information. And of course, it can be accessed remotely.
Okay, thank you. The next question, maybe it's not a question, is a comment. Some AI can be brought to edge computing to reduce the amount of data that needs to be transferred.
True.
Yeah.
Sure. And then we can even, that's, yeah, I think it's a very technical expert who even asked this question, but there is as well optimization. So for example, we can run some optimization in our EMS receiver in our station before to send it on the cloud, so we can do some local processing in order to minimize the amount of data to be sent over to the cloud. So definitely there is a lot of optimization to be done. And then the split between local processing and cloud processing still need to be improved.
Okay, thank you. Next question is about your sales strategy, your sales plan, and the question is, could you also sell via the specialized tractor traders?
That's for sure an option. It's I could see there definitely synergies, so it's a great idea. Yeah. And
we have already received a couple of touches from John Deere's, because John Deere's has got as well an embedded GPS receiver on the tractors, and they are quite interested by our technology. So nothing formal has been established, but we are on the radar here.
Options are open.
Maybe you could a little bit elaborate on your sales strategy.
So
for the start with what we are offering, what would be offering from 2022 would be basically the 3 subscription plans, so monthly subscription, and we are targeting initially 60,000 vineyards in France. And that's the vineyards that are bigger than 5 hectares, as we see there the sweet spot where we can add most value from 5 hectares upwards. And then based on that and the recurring revenues, we expect to be able to size up and internationalize, as we mentioned earlier, in Germany, starting from 2026.
Okay, thank you. The next question is there a plan to connect sprayers to the result of the device, so only areas with diseases are treated? And when yes, how would you do this?
I didn't get the question. Is there a plan to connect and then?
To connect sprayers to the result of the device, so only areas with diseases are treated.
Yeah.
And when yes, how?
Yes, there is a plan, and no, there is not a plan. So yes, there is a plan in a way that we can provide a very high definition map of a vineyard with a precise indication of where the diseases are and exactly where to spray and when to not spray. But we wouldn't control actually the sprayer. So we will stop our services where we will provide, let's say, the high definition map, and then for example, the sprayer manufacturer can consider our map and then have the map as an input to actually then control and manage the quantity of spray to include to the vineyards. The same question actually for the drones. So we will, let's say, in terms of services, we will provide this high definition map, which will be an open map. So it won't be a proprietary map. It will be an open map which can be used then by third parties, and could be spray company, could be drones company as well.
And on this, it's also interesting to mention that with this map, we could also be looking at the maybe efficiency of the sprayed product. So if you know the quantity, if the owner or the worker knows how many, what the quantity of product that was put in a certain area, you could look at whether there is a correlation with yield.
Okay. Question regarding the business model. The geolocational service for vineyards look like a small niche market. A lot of small companies are targeting this niche market, and is this market big enough?
I thought it was a small market at the beginning as well, but actually we have 2.4 million vineyard owners in Europe. So it's not that small it depends to which market we are comparing to, right? But we have 2.4 million vineyard owners. The market of precision viticulture is estimated to $1.5 billion worldwide in 2022. That's the first aspect. And the second side of this question is we have many other opportunities besides vineyard management. So we can expand our technology to insurance naturally without changing anything on our hardware side. And then we have as well follow-up markets, farming markets, which can be addressed with the same hardware. And the only thing we will have to upgrade is the software in our cloud database. So we have a lot of opportunities with this market.
Maybe just to add to that, the viticulture market is really the beginning where we can make sure the technology is being optimized fully, and then we can easily expand into the next market and scale up.
Okay, yeah, thank you. The last question is about crowd investing. Why is it a good time to invest now?
Sveta?
Yes, sorry, I was mute still. Well, it's actually it's a really good time to invest for multiple reasons. So we have already secured our alpha customers. We're starting with the testing. And we already have actually more interest from alpha customers who would like to test the technology into their vineyards than we even planned for. So there is clearly interest from farmers into the technology. It really solves problems. At the same time, so we are just literally pre-commercialization. So the valuation of the company is very attractive. It's been valued at 3.5 million at this point. So from here, the growth goes really exponentially, and it's really the perfect time to join.
And then on top of this as well, if I can add something, Alexander, is since the beginning of our crowdfunding campaign is just amazing, the level of coverage we have from magazines, newspapers specialized in viticulture. Actually, we expected to have some coverage, but we didn't expect to have this amount of coverage from the press, from the specialist press. And since actually we are public now in terms of crowdfunding campaign, we have received already numerous actually requests from potential customers in Bordeaux, in Avignon, interested by our technology, asking when can we buy it. So definitely it's actually a good time. The more investment we will get in the campaign, the bigger, let's say, the coverage and interest we'll have from the news, and the more customer we hope to receive requests from them. So I think it's a definitely great push now to have investments from our investors.
Okay, thank you. And my last question would be regarding ourselves. So you are an international company. Why did you choose Foundation as the crowd investing platform of your choice?
Well, it's a good question, and it has a different vibes to it. So from one perspective, we're like truly European company, or international, I should probably even say, and then that's been proven by well, we are located in one country. We are looking for investors in multiple countries. We have employees from multiple countries. And from that perspective, it makes perfect sense from European perspective. So we're located in France, where we already have our alpha customers, and we get coverage there from also from press. So tapping on the German crowd investor market is the perfect opportunity for us to diversify. And in addition to that, Germany would be our next market to enter into expansion with our services. And the reason for that, basically, it's the perfect place with the climate change also, where the viticulture market is going to grow compared to other European markets, which are actually decreasing. And of course, the great services of Foundation.
Okay, thank you so much. Good. I think we stretched a little bit the time already, and a little bit late in our time schedule. And I don't see any more questions from the audience. So I would like to end this today. Of course, everybody can connect you via our platform and ask more questions. So thank you to all the participants for this lively discussion and your interest. And of course, thank you to Betty, Sveta, and Ben for introducing 3D Aerospace to us and answering all these questions. Yeah, I wish you a good evening, a good luck, of course, to 3D Aerospace, to the campaign and to the development of the company. And yeah, thank you. I hope I see you all next time at the next online management presentation we might present to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you then to the investors, to Betty and Sveta and my parents. And then I will show you to say good night and hope to see you soon.
Thank you all for your time.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.